Elon Musk bans Twitter impersonators. The midterm results surprise everyone. And the National Park Service asks people to stop licking toads. That and more on this week's headlines. America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. A California Powerball player claimed a record $2 billion jackpot in LA County, California. The prize originally started at $20 million in August, but that rose 100-fold after a string of 40 drawings without any winners. This is by far the biggest lottery payout ever, breaking the previous Powerball record by $400 million. In fact, it was so large that the gas station where the winning ticket was sold taped bees onto signs that read "Millionaire Made Here," so they would read "Billionaire Made Here." As of this recording, the winner has yet to come forward, but we know that the owner of the gas station was awarded $1 million for being the retailer who sold the winning ticket. Congrats to both of them, but the real winner here is the IRS, which will take as much as 37% from the top winner. And the IRS gets the money no matter who wins the lotto. Former President Donald Trump has been hinting at another run for the White House. During a rally for Senate Republican candidate J.D. Vance, Trump said that he will make a big announcement on November 15th at Mar-a-Lago. Trump declined to elaborate, saying that he didn't want to distract from country-saving midterm elections. Because if you asked anyone to describe Trump in 2 words, the answer would definitely be not distracting. Thanks to his pre-announcement, shares of Trump-linked SPAC Digital World Acquisition Corp soared 66% on Monday. While we're at it, let's talk about Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Many believe that DeSantis is setting himself up for a presidential run too. Some are calling him Trump 2.0, which is not something Trump 1.0 would probably appreciate. Trump, of course, doesn't want anyone else to be the face of the Republican Party. I mean, can you beat a face like this? He started calling DeSantis wrong DeSanctimonious. Trump also told a group of reporters on his plane that if DeSantis runs, Trump could tell things about him that won't be very flattering, and that he knows more about DeSantis than anyone other than his wife. Wait a minute, what does Trump know that no one other than his wife would know? That DeSantis sleeps with the BTS body pillow? Well, at least DeSantis is sleeping well knowing that he got reelected in a landslide as Florida's governor. But how have other Republicans fared in the midterm elections? We'll get to that after the break. Welcome back. Earlier this week, Twitter CEO Elon Musk announced a permanent ban on impersonators. This was after several Twitter users changed their profile names to Elon Musk. Among those banned is comedian Kathy Griffin. The comedian known most recently for a photo of herself holding up a fake bloody Trump head back in 2017. In response, Elon Musk says Griffin was suspended for impersonating a comedian. But if she really wants her account back, she can have it for $8. That's a reference to his proposed fee for Twitter's blue check verification mark. Musk really likes to get on people's nerves, especially Democrats, when he openly backed Republicans for the midterms. He addressed independents, saying that he recommends voting for a Republican Congress, given that the presidency is Democratic. Because if you vote for a third party, you're just throwing away your vote. Now, the midterms. Many speculated that there would be a huge red wave supporting Republicans, especially with an economy going so bad under Democratic leadership. But so far, there's been no big sweep for Republicans for the midterm elections. Instead, people have described it as a red ripple, or a red whimper, or you could call it a pink splash. Democrats outperformed polls that showed Republicans coasting to victories from Maine to even California. Part of it is thanks to voter concerns over abortion, even though earlier polls indicated that the economy was a much bigger concern. Many also thank young voters, especially Gen Zers, for saving Democrats. Exit polls from the National Election Pool found that younger voters aged 18 to 29 were the only voter group by age to overwhelmingly support Democrats in the midterms. 63% of that group voted for Democrats, while only 35% voted Republican. Meanwhile, Democrats are framing votes for them as votes for democracy, because clearly any other vote would be a vote for fascism. Now that Democrats aren't doing so badly, President Joe Biden says the midterm election was a good day for democracy.
It was a good day, I think, for democracy. And I think it was a good day for America. Our democracy has been tested in recent years, but with their votes, the American people have spoken and proven once again that democracy is who we are.
Ah, yes, thanks to people voting for Democrats, democracy was saved, because clearly the best way to protect the right to vote is to limit all other options. Biden is now prepared to work with Republicans regardless of what the final tally shows. I'm sure that he would say the same thing if Republicans performed a lot better. Despite all the headlines saying how much Republicans are underperforming, things weren't all bad for them. Florida went big for Republicans. And that's a big change since back in 2018, the Florida governor election was so close that Ron DeSantis only won with a recount. And then his Democratic Party opponent, Andrew Gillum, tried to go to the courts, which didn't work. Nationally, the red wave didn't turn out as red or as wavy as that. As of this recording, we don't know who is going to control the House of Representatives and the Senate. But it so far looks more likely that the Republicans will get enough of a majority, even if it's small, to control the House. At this moment, the Senate hinges on Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia. Georgia is going to a runoff election, which of course means that both parties win, because they have more chances to email you incessantly for money. But even without controlling the Senate, Republicans can use the House to block a lot of Democratic agendas. And if things get worse over the next 2 years, Republicans can say, hey, we weren't in charge, blame the Democrats. And that will help them in the 2024 presidential election. Because the best way to win an election these days isn't by actually doing a good job, it's by pointing out all the ways your opponents have failed. And after the break, glitches in the voting machines. Welcome back. Glitches with Maricopa County election machines in Arizona frustrated voters. An hour into the midterm election, voters and poll workers started reporting issues with tabulators, where paper ballots are fed after people vote. At first, officials estimated that about 10% of polling places were experiencing problems. That estimate got raised to 20%, and then 30% of the county's voting locations before officials found and fixed the issue, timing marks that had been printed on ballots. At issue were printers that were not producing dark enough markings on the ballots, which required election officials to change the printer settings. Many voters had to go to other voting centers if their votes weren't getting registered. A lot of Republicans, including Trump, pounced on this, suggesting that Democrats are involved in stealing the election with bad machines and delays. President of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk, claimed that Democrats were running the elections and designed ways to interfere with elections, even though 4 of the 5 Board of Election Supervisors, including the chairman, are Republicans. Just because the election supervisors are Republican doesn't mean there wasn't a problem. It just means it's harder to blame your opponents. Speaking of problems America is facing, people need to stop licking psychedelic toads. More specifically, the National Park Service is warning people not to lick the Sonoran Desert toad, also known as the Colorado River toad. These toads can be found in parts of Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, and sometimes California. The National Park Service says the Colorado Desert toad is totally terrifying because they have prominent parotoid glands that secrete a potent toxin. According to Drug Science, an international scientific research group, Colorado river toads secrete a milky substance. Their secretions can be snorted, inhaled, or smoked, and induces a short but intense psychedelic experience, or trip, of around 30 minutes with hallucinogenic effects that are significantly stronger than those induced by similar substances. These toad secretions are classified as a Schedule I substance, making them effectively illegal in the U.S. for people, not for toads. There isn't much data that tells us how prominent toad licking is, but the fact that the National Park Service has to specifically ask people to stop licking, that makes me worried. Apparently, demand for the toad's toxin is booming. You know, as contentious as elections can be, I think it's nice that a story like this can make us all sit back and reflect on how amazing it is that America has made it this far as a country. So So what do you think about the stories we covered this week? Leave your comments below. And if you want to help us deliver nonpartisan news, be sure to support America Uncovered by going to patreon.com/America Uncovered. All it takes is as little as $1 or more per episode to fight YouTube's censorship and demonetization. We rely on your support to help us keep making great episodes. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.